What's up, world? I'm your host, APOC,
And I'm Doc.
and we are the Rational Dudes.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and bring this up. Rest in peace. But there's some updated news on our fallen celebrity / legend, Prince. Apparently there was a mislabel of his drugs, I guess, that he was taking. Apparently it's supposed to be ibuprofen, but it's fentanyl.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's really ridiculous. It makes no sense. When have you ever got a mislabeled pill bottle? I've never seen anybody have that happen. And the mislabel happens to be fentanyl, which is like, what did they say, like 100 times more powerful than morphine?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck you even get that shit? Let alone mislabel it.
I mean, you can get fentanyl, that ain't the problem, but it's the fact that he's probably popping it like he's like, ibuprofen, let me take 3 of them things.
Yeah.
And then he like, I still don't feel good, let me pop 2 more. And that's crazy, man. I think they just doing it to take out the legends.
Yeah, man.
That's really what it is, man.
There ain't no fucking way this happens to 2 legends right as soon as they're,
about to come back out with a vengeance.
Yeah. Not only that, Prince was he was in the process of teaching artists how to become independent from these labels.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, he had he had the rights to all of his music, and he was not going to sell it to anybody. And he was trying to teach other artists how to become like him. And, basically stick it to these labels who are giving you shitty deals and stuff and become independent.
Yeah.
And not only that, you remember the great late Michael Jackson, who also overdosed on some kind of drug accidentally, right? But he was also the owner of, what was it? He was the owner of a piece of music. I forgot what it was called. He basically was the owner of over 250 different artists' music books. He owned the right to all their music, and this included popular artists like Eminem, Beyonce, and a bunch of now people.
Yeah, I mean, he did have that much I do know is that he had a lot of influences and, and had his hands all over the music business, with or without him ever having to release an album. And it's funny how he had, died right before tour and stuff like that. And now with Prince gone, it's amazing. It's always something, and it's always some foul play. They don't ever want to admit it, but it's foul play.
Yeah, it's getting fishy. So, whoever's taking care of Stevie Wonder, you better hug that dude. Keep him real close. Don't let him fly any planes. Don't let him walk through the street. Don't let him do anything. Bubble wrap him.
Thank God for Shaka Khan, man. Shaka Khan's still out here doing it, going on tour. And she's staying out the way, so thank God, because they trying to take out all of our legends.
Yeah, she better stay out the way, and she better not be trying to, become independent or none of that, because they killing everybody out here.
For real.
So, not only did Michael Jackson own this big giant record book, and he was constantly making music off of all of these artists, over 250, I think it was. They wanted to buy the rights to that music back from him. He refused to sell it. He kept refusing to sell it. Then he started talking to, all the conspiracy stuff about the Illuminati and putting them out there. And then he dies by mysterious circumstances, still to this day, apparently. And
as always.
And his family sells the music that he didn't want to sell, and they sell it for a cheap ass price compared to what it was really worth. So not only did they sell all the records he, you know, had rights to, they sold his rights too, to his music. I think they sold it to Sony or something like that. But it's crazy that when these people, these famous people, start you know, trying to stick it to the man, basically, they end up dying in mysterious ways. And the Prince thing, the fentanyl, there's no fucking way someone as prominent as Prince got a pill bottle mislabeled from ibuprofen to that, and then all of a sudden he just fucking overdosed on it. Come on, man. They set him up. It was a setup.
Of course, man. They are always doing this. That's exactly how it works. They setting us up, and honestly, they don't want us to have any legends. That's just how it goes, you know. That's just how it goes. If they don't snipe you from a hotel balcony, they gonna get you through a pill. That's just how it goes. Yeah.
It definitely seems like anytime there's a prominent black person or person of color that doesn't follow the norm and isn't put into a box by, you know, agencies and governments, something mysterious happens.
Couldn't put Michael in a box.
Yeah, no.
You definitely couldn't put Prince in a box.
No, definitely. Those two were way out of the box.
Yeah, they were all over the place. That's just how it went. Yeah. I don't know, man. Everybody out here dying. That reminds me, I was just looking up on this subject. I was told about a park that's actually out there in New Jersey. It's called Action Park. And, you know, sometimes I search through YouTube, look at stuff. And I guess like 6 or 7 people, whatever, however many had died. But if you live in New Jersey from when the park was open, like, you know that there's way more deaths.
Yeah, I've heard of that living out here. So apparently Action Park was basically the owner had the philosophy of opening the park, giving you the tools to have fun, and letting you decide how much fun you're gonna have, no matter how dangerous it is. And, you know, some people, their idea of fun was actually dying, so they was like, fuck it, we going out. So there was this ride called the Alpine Slide or something like that.
Yeah, that whole
yeah, so I know everybody's seen
toboggan
Cool
ride or whatever.
Yeah, I know everybody's seen Cool Runnings. So basically the Alpine Slide is Cool Runnings, you know, the bobsled down the half pipe. Mm-hmm. But the half pipe is concrete, and your bobsled is this rinkety little thing on 4 wheels.
No, bro.
With one stick that either brakes and slows you down too slow, or go forward and there are no brakes.
You ain't getting me on that ride, no, bro.
So yeah, I mean, just seeing that ride, my ass would have been like, no, I'm definitely not getting on this shit, because if I fall out of that sled, I gotta slide down concrete hill with no protection, right? And not only that, if I go too fast, you gonna fly off of the course and, you know, go through some trees and some rocks. And apparently an employee did and died from it.
Yeah, see, but all these cases was hecka old. They was all back like in the 70s and 80s, right? Mm-hmm. But I guess when they reopened, somebody else, they were getting stuck. Nobody else necessarily died, but that, I guess there was a big tunnel slide that actually has a loop on the end.
Yeah.
Like, it's a tunnel slide, but they Tony Hawk looping down into the water. Like, you out your mind, yo. You are not finna get me in no damn loop. I'm not with that. And I guess people were getting stuck, so what, they had to build like some type of
escape hatch, basically.
Yeah.
To save your fucking life.
Like, how do they stay open for attendance? Like, how did they not close for people not going? Like, is it just the stupidity out there in Jersey or what?
Man, this was the 70s when you could smoke crack on national TV and probably get away with it. You could ride bikes with no helmets. motherfucker driving cars with no seatbelts, smoking cigarettes with your infants in the back seat, and that was okay.
But
70s was the time.
But even when you opened it, opened it back up for 2013, the little trailer looked scary as hell.
Yeah, they try to make it seem like family fun. Yeah, bring your family here and get murdered.
Yeah, it ain't no family fun when you start getting stuck in the loops. And then they got the wave pool. That's called the grave pool.
The grave pool?
The grave pool. 3 people have died in the grave pool drowning. How you drown in a wave pool that's controlled? It's a controlled wave pool. Up. 3 people have died in a controlled wave. And I guess one of them was a 14-year-old lifeguard. So
the lifeguard died. Not only the park goers, but the lifeguard.
But he was only 14, though.
What the hell is a 14-year-old being a lifeguard? Man, he probably can't even swim.
Look, man, I'm being in the Bay Area. There was only a couple of amusement parks. You are not finna get me stuck on those type of rides. I ain't going out to Action Park. I'm good. Nope. When I go out there to Jersey, ain't my thing. I ain't going. I don't care. 'Cause I've gotten stuck enough on Medusa. I've gotten stuck enough on Boomerang. I'm good.
Yeah, I remember in Sacramento at Waterworld, they had this slide that's like I'm not even sure if it's a water slide because I've never got close enough to see the water, but it's this slide where you have to climb these steps, which seems like 10 stories into the air. Like it's so high that everything up there looks small. Like once you get to the top of that, the people on the floor can barely see you. That's how high this fucking slide is.
Hell no.
And then it's just like a straight drop down.
Nope.
And there's no guards there's no guarding on the side of the slide to stop you from going over the edge. So every time I would see this slide, I would just look up there and I would be like, who the fuck invented this thing? And why is there no safeguards? And it's still open. I don't think anybody's died from it, but I would be the one to die because black people always die in the movies, and I'm not gonna be the one. And when Action Park opens back up, you won't catch my ass over there.
You ain't finna catch my ass in no amusement. See, when I go to amusement park, I'm about eating and playing the arcade. I love arcade. I think one of the coolest arcades I've ever been to is in San Francisco. And it's just an old school penny arcade. I think it's a nickel now, but you can play old school
inflation.
Like you can play Missile Command on its original,
This is in Frisco?
In Frisco. And it's just a little old school penny arcade off of the pier. And yeah, man, I love a good old arcade. I could do that. But you ain't finna get me on them rides, man. That's called equals death. Mm-hmm. And how you gonna sue if you dead?
Yeah, exactly. And if you go on YouTube and just look at the trailers for this place and just scroll through the comments, you'll find just comedy gold. People are like, so they called it a high class park, and then somebody was like more like class action lawsuit park.
Yeah, I mean they called it, instead of the wave pool, it's called the grave pool. Come on, man.
That's so
you ain't finna get
funny.
me there, man. I'm good.
So
Good.
I just don't understand, like how powerful were these waves to drown 3 people? I remember I went to a park with a wave pool one time out here on the East Coast. I think it was in PA. And I remember I was in a wave pool, and now that I'm older, it's not like when I was younger when I could barely swim and I would stay towards the shallow end. Now that I'm older, I decided to go towards the deep end where the waves are the biggest, right?
I don't care how tall I am.
So I'm out there and I'm kind of tall, so I can still reach the floor, but once the waves start, you can't reach the floor anymore because the water gets so high. So I'm just chilling, just floating through the waves because I can swim now. I'm floating through the waves like I'm, fucking Aquaman or something, the Black Aquaman. And I look towards the wall and I see this little kid. this little kid clinging for dear life to the ladder, right? And the waves are just beating him up. And I'm sitting there, I keep looking, and then in my head I'm like, no, he can't. He must be fine. He must just be playing. And I keep looking over there. It took me like 2 minutes to realize that this kid was like drowning, right?
It took you 2 minutes.
I was sitting there floating, and then I would look into the sky and I would start daydreaming. Then I would look back, and he's in a worse predicament than he was last time I looked. So after looking about five times in 2 minutes, I'm realizing this kid is like really, he's getting beat up by the water. He needs help.
Why you giving him a SpongeBob moment? 5 minutes later.
Yeah, that's it, because I was spacing out. I wasn't thinking. So there's ladders on the side towards the deep end so you can get out. He's clinging onto the ladder for dear life, right?
How old is this kid?
This kid had to be like 10 years old or something, maybe 9. I don't even know what the hell he was doing this far out. This is obviously only for experienced swimmers. I don't know where his mom was at, but he's on the ladder, and every time the water would go down, he would try to climb. Then it would hit him again, and he would fall back down. He's clinging on with one arm, about to die and shit. And I'm like, oh shit, this kid's about to die. I should probably do something. And right before I decided to move, a lifeguard jumped out of nowhere over my head and swam and saved the kid and turned the wave pool off.
My nigga.
But just seeing that, I could see how the wave pool might be dangerous for some inexperienced swimmers, especially back then because it was probably one of the newer ones. And I mean, one of the first ones, so they probably didn't know that, you can't have these waves on tsunami level. So the grave pool, man, it's the real thing.
Yeah, man.
I won't be in there.
No, not at all. Because I remember at work they was offering the trip for all workers to go ahead and do indoor surfing. Nope.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a big ass wave pool with a wall next to it.
Yeah.
You are not finna try to get me on a surfboard so I can fly up in the air, break my ankle, and end up in hospital, try to sue my job and this place.
And you ain't gonna get workman's comp or nothing like that because you probably had to sign a waiver.
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, no, man, I'm good.
You should have been like, do they got funnel cake there? Because if so, I'll come for that.
I'll come that. Yeah, exactly.
Black people don't do surf pools or none of that type of shit.
I opted out on that work event. You were not finna get me in no pool, no electronic waved pool. I'm good. Don't work like that.
I mean, it looks cool, but you think about it.
No, don't. No, don't. It don't look cool. It looks dangerous.
Yeah.
It looks like you're putting yourself in a wave. Like I just learned about body surfing. Like there are people who go in the water and start surfing with just their body, not a board. They just let the waves take them and they go body surfing.
How the hell does that work?
Exactly. Look it up. Look it up.
Insane.
There's some experienced body surfers out there. That's not me. That's not me.
That's experienced shark food, maybe.
Exactly. Or, I don't know. But just look it up.
I bet you Warren Sapp's looking into that nowadays.
Yeah,
after his lobstering incident.
Yeah, exactly. Look it up. Extreme body surfing. So,
while we're on the subject of this craziness, let me ask you if you heard about what happened in, I think it was India. It was somewhere in India. During their little independence festival they have every year, they fly kites. And they fly, there's kites everywhere.
Wait, is this where they throw color all over you and stuff like that too?
I'm not sure about the color. I think that's a different
where
thing.
They have like paint?
Yeah, I think that's a different thing.
Oh, okay.
But they fly kites. So it's a heavy, a densely populated place, city type of area. So there's kites everywhere. So 3 people died via kites during this last festival. They had their throats slit.
Oh, hell no.
By the string.
Oh, hell no. Not even the kite?
No, just the string.
What is the string made out of? Metallic metal?
So the people who died, there was a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old who were, hanging out the sunroof of their car. Throats got slit. Then there was a motorcyclist who also got his throat slit while riding his bike. So this person who was flying this kite was obviously a Agent 47 or something, and these guys were targets.
Yeah, because these ropes got to be made. These strings got to be made of like Chinese ninja web stars or some shit.
So the strings were glass coated. Apparently, they make these strings so that you can take out competitors' kites. But apparently, whoever decided to fly this kite was a trained assassin from some kind of movie.
It had to be in Jason Statham.
Yeah, it had to be. I mean, who else would think of doing something like that? Why are you flying a kite that dangerous?
What the hell? Like, honestly, that'll be kind of cool. Not the death part, but
you flying the most snuggest kite on the block. Can you imagine being in a park when everybody's flying kites and you just walking around cutting everybody's kite off?
Rest in peace. I put Kimbo Slice's mean mug face on the kite. Be like, R.I.P. yo kite. Like, put Kimbo Slice on that kite, bro.
Just kite bullying people.
Hell yeah.
Just walking by cutting their strings like, fuck your kite. It's Kimbo kite.
It's a glass coated string. That is so dumb.
Somehow they have like powdered glass or something like that, and they somehow fix it to the string when they make it.
Fuck a nuke, just drop hella glass coated string kites on us.
So I just want to know, why is your kite string at such a low level to the ground, especially horizontally to catch someone hanging out the sunroof, that you're able to hit someone's neck? What were you doing?
In the words of Mac Dre, they were getting stupid.
Yeah, definitely.
Hanging out the sunroof.
And so, what do you think happened to this person? This person got fined.
What?
He got fined and no jail time.
So, wait, it's a singular person.
It was one person with one kite that killed 3 people.
What did he do after the first person? He just kept going?
I have no idea how this happened, but his kite with the glass string sliced the throats of 3 people, and he got fucking fined. No jail time. No, death penalty or none of that. 2 of the people were toddlers, 3 and 4. One of them was a grown man on a motorcycle. So he pays the fine, and I mean that's the end of it.
Nah, bro, there's gotta be something.
So
that you were for sure Agent 47.
For real.
Sure.
So his penalty was 100,000 rupees, because that's their currency in India.
Yeah.
You know how much that translates?
Yeah, bro, it's like $500.
$1,400.
Yeah.
So if you feel like murdering somebody, all you gotta do is get a glass coated kite and go to India, and I mean it's free for all.
No,
shit is crazy.
Man. I'm African American. I get killed out there. They gonna look at me and be like, "No, bro, what the hell? A glass kite? I'm done.
This is some fucking Final Destination type of shit.
I'm done.
What a way to die! Like,
man,
this needs to be on that 1,000 Ways to Die show.
Oh, it definitely will. I'm submitting it tonight.
And not only that, I remember, while we're on the subject of strange deaths, I was at work, reading the news, and apparently someone on the beach died from a beach umbrella. So
let me guess, it was flying down the beach and it impaled him right through his chest.
Her, yes.
Her. Oh shit, I was right.
Yes. So apparently whoever set up the umbrella didn't ground it right. The wind blew, the umbrella flew through the air like a fucking torpedo and impaled someone through the chest, and they died right there on the spot.
Damn. Right through the chest. Oh.
I mean, when it's your time to go, it don't matter what's around you. it's gonna take you the fuck out.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah, I mean that's
crazy.
Can you imagine imagine trying to tell somebody, oh yeah, my family member died from a umbrella.
That's gotta be one crazy gravestone.
Yeah.
You know?
Died from flying umbrella.
You know?
Died from Agent 47.
Death by umbrella.
Death by kite string. Oh man, it's terrible.
Yeah, very terrible. Well, that sucks. But hey, you know what? With all this crazy death, I think we gotta end this on a bad note. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Like us on Facebook. Make sure to tune in. Give us some subjects. Maybe you want to hear something that you want to hear us to speak on. I'm Doc.
And I'm APOC.
We are the Rational Dudes. Peace.